Welcome to this chapter on the rebuilding of the 62TE transmission. This chapter is divided into three parts: teardown, subassemblies, and reassembly. In this part, you'll learn about the subassemblies for this unit. My name is Bill Brayton, and I'll be your host for this chapter. It's a great day to fix transmissions, so let's get started. All right, to start the input drum disassembly, we're going to tap the reverse pressure plate down and remove the retaining snap ring. Now use a screwdriver to pry that pressure plate off the input drum and remove the reverse clutch pack. Next, remove the underdrive pressure plate retaining snap ring. You will notice the pressure plate pop up or bounce up when the snap ring is removed. This happens because of the wave snap ring under the pressure plate. Now grab the overdrive hub and lift it out of the drum. The overdrive clutch pack will come out with the hub because of the blind splines on the hub. Now the 3-tab washer may come out with the hub, or it may stick to the underdrive hub. After the OD clutch pack and hub are out of the drum, the underdrive hub can be removed from the drum. Also remove the hub to drum thrust bearing. Now is a good time to remove the wave spring from the wide groove in the OD reverse piston. Next, remove the underdrive pressure plate retaining snap ring. Notice that this is a tapered snap ring and the flat side goes towards the pressure plate. Next, remove the underdrive pressure plate and the top underdrive friction plate. Notice that the side of the pressure plate with the partial apply area faces up. Now remove the wide flat snap ring. Now with the snap ring out of the way, we can remove the underdrive clutches and steels. Next, remove the input shaft retaining snap ring. Next, remove the input shaft from the drum. Then remove and discard three of the three scarf cut sealing rings. Use a suitable press and remove the retaining snap ring. Remove the retainer and the return spring. Now remove the underdrive piston for the drum. Next, let's remove the tapered snap ring. Now we can remove the input clutch retainer and the OD reverse piston from the input clutch hub. After the pistons are off the input hub, we can remove and discard the piston seals. Next, turn the OD reverse piston over and use a suitable press to compress the return spring. Now remove the snap ring and the return spring. Now to complete the input drum disassembly, remove and discard the input hub rubber seals. Now clean and inspect all the input drum parts. To start the input clutch hub assembly, install the inner seals onto the input clutch hub. You can see we've got an OD reverse lip seal, a blue input clutch O-ring, a brown input clutch O-ring, and finally a lip seal for the underdrive piston. Next, place the OD reverse return spring onto the piston and use a suitable press to compress the spring and install the snap ring. Turn the OD reverse piston and the input clutch retainer over and install new seals. Now we can lubricate the inner and outer seals and install the input clutch retainer and the OD reverse piston onto the input clutch hub. Now it's time to install the snap ring. This is the tapered snap ring. Always install the snap ring with the flat side down. It's a good idea to tap that snap ring into the groove to set the snap ring. Next, lube the underdrive piston and push it down into the drum. Now install the underdrive return spring and a new retainer. Use a suitable press and install the retaining snap ring. Next, place a small amount of assembly gel in the sealing ring grooves. Now install the scarf cut sealing rings. That gel helps to retain those snap rings into those grooves. Next, install the input shaft into the input drum and install the retaining snap ring. Next, we are going to load the clutches into the input drum without the hubs to check clutch clearances. Let's start with the underdrive clutches and thin steels. Now, before installing the last underdrive friction plate, install the flat snap ring into the lower groove as shown. Now we can install the last underdrive clutch and the pressure plate. The side that has the partial apply area is the top. The side with the apply area all the way across is the bottom. Next, install the top tapered snap ring. Use a hammer and screwdriver to sneak the snap ring into the groove. Now we can use a spark plug feeler gauge to check underdrive clutch clearance. The spark plug feeler gauge works much better due to the small amount of room that we have to get in between the friction and the pressure plate. So that's really the tools that you want to use. And clearance should be 35 to 60 thousandths. For best results, keep the clutch clearance on the loose side. Clearance is adjusted using selective pressure plates. Next, we're going to install the overdrive clutch pack and check the clutch clearance. First, install 4 friction plates and 3 steel plates. Next, install the wave snap ring into the bottom part of the wide groove. Next, install the overdrive pressure plate. Be sure to place the dot side down. If there is no dot, it's the side with the larger step that faces down. Okay, we have the pressure plate in, and because of the wave snap ring, we need to push the pressure plate down and install the snap ring. Use a screwdriver to work the ring into the groove until it's fully seated in the drum. Next, use an angled feeler gauge this time to check OD clutch clearance. Clearance should be 19 to 92 thousandths. If the clearance is not correct, recheck clutch assembly. The clearance is non-adjustable, so if you have less that clearance or more clearance, you need to go back and recheck your stack there. Now install the 2 reverse friction plates and 1 steel plate. Next, install the reverse pressure plate. The pressure plate is a snug fit. It must be tapped into place. Once the plate is all the way down, install the snap ring. Now, once the plate and snap ring are in, once the plate and snap ring are in place, pry the plate up against the snap ring. Use a feeler gauge to check the clutch clearance. Clearance should be 30 to 49 thousandths as it adjusted with selective snap rings. Okay, so the clearances have been set. Now it's time to do the final assembly of the input drum. Remove the reverse and overdrive clutch packs. It's okay to leave the wave spring in the drum at this time. Next, install the thrust bearing into the drum with the flat side facing up. Now work the underdrive hub down into the clutches. Now install the 5-tab washer onto the top of the UD hub. Next, use a small amount of assembly gel and stick the 3-tab steel thrust washer to the overdrive hub. Now install the OD hub onto the UD hub. Now after the hub has been installed, it's time to reinstall the OD clutch pack, the pressure plate, and the snap ring. It's the same as before. You need to push the pressure plate down and work the snap ring into the groove all the way around the drum. Next is the reverse pack, the pressure plate, and the snap ring. Tap the plate down and install the snap ring. That's it. This is what the completed input drum should look like. Now, place the finished drum on the pump to air check the clutches. Now there's a big caution here, big bright red letters. You got to be very careful when air checking underdrive clutch. Using too much air pressure will cause the input drum to jump or hop away from the pump and possibly tear sealing rings. So what you need to do is reduce the air pressure and lean on the drum. It will still air check really nice. Okay, this will conclude the input drum part of the 62TE transmission. We want to thank you for participating in our virtual training solutions powered by ATRA. Until next time, let's keep fixing transmissions together.